those and, you know, tried to just push them down and move on.
Yeah,
And, uh, and so they're getting them out and having those feelings and emotions has been very helpful.
that's awesome, man. Continuing to expand. I love it. Yeah, 8,000 steps, that's a pretty hefty amount. That's a good amount of steps plus everything else you're doing.
Yeah,
So,
I have some questions for you after pertaining to APs and all that other stuff. So
of course, of course. Thanks for sharing, man. Keep crushing it.
thank you.
Cool. All right, Nikki, how are you doing, Nikki?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Thanks, Miguel. Hello again. Hello to everyone.
Hello, hello.
Um, I've had a kind of pretty difficult curveball time, spicy APs. And I got to this point where I think I just can't even, I was sitting here thinking, trying to piece it together. But on the weekend, I just hit this, you know, emotional low. And before I joined CFS, I actually got into these angel cards that I just love, and I sort of forgot about them a little bit, and I just suddenly thought, hang on, you got all this stuff going on, you got to get out of your head, so I got my angel cards out and also some other stuff I watch on YouTube, and I just pulled out of it. It was like it was like going down this roller coaster, and you feel like you're gonna crash and burn. Because I think John would know what I'm talking about. I'm dealing with the issue where a person who should be being a lot nicer is really not. And so it's this disappointment. But I suddenly felt like everything was going to be fine. And
Hmm.
the next few days were just so good because I was just connecting with people and I didn't need to tell the story. It was like it was in the background. And it was just so good. So, and I was trying not to get too excited, you know, to grey it out a bit. But yeah, I've been feeling pretty good. Yeah,
That's
hauling
great.
wood around, and you know,
That's
just it,
great.
it just energized me. If you know what I
Nice.
mean.
And this is a good reminder of just why responding well is so powerful. Because sometimes you kind of feel like the car is not quite going off the cliff, but it feels like it's heading there. Like if the AP and things are just getting really messy, then all of a sudden mind shift, boom, whatever the synapses in the brain just somehow they do something, and then it's like you're out of the fog and you're out of this spiral. And it sounds like that's what happened to you. So
Mm,
got to
mm,
experience that. Thanks for
mm.
sharing.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
instead of pushing myself and doing this false positivity, I let myself cry about a few things. I just noticed the emotion and let it out, and then I moved on. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Cool.
good,
Thanks for
really good.
sharing. That's awesome. Keep it up.
Mhm. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Let's go for Andrea. You there, Andrea? There we go. Nice to
Yeah,
see you again. You were on the call
it's
earlier.
again too. I didn't know it's me the next,
Yeah, yeah.
but
It's you. It's you.
I'm glad I heard my name as I was walking towards the
Excellent.
kitchen.
Hey, what time is it there? You were on the call
It's
early, right?
7:16.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Looks a little dark,
No,
maybe.
no, you're good.
Yeah. So my win is that today after the call, I just went to the beach by myself and I struggle with a lot of loneliness, which I'm a little just concerned that it might kind of interfere with my healing because I had a mind shift after we talk about like me not doing much, first day after work when I'm in AP. But then I realized even the second day I'm not doing much, and I realized I'm probably too black and white. The
Yeah.
third, I'm usually going to the gym already and I'm active, but yeah, I think yeah, it was a mind shift thinking I need to be a little bit more active on my days off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went to the beach even though I was by myself. I just like find a good book, which is called Mindfulness as Medicine. And it really caught me. So I realized if I keep my mind occupied, then I don't have time to think about like that I'm lonely and all these things. So I end up having a good day with our call and going to the beach. And I even took a nap and read a book. So yeah, I'm happy.
Nice. Good job implementing it right away. 'Cause I know we
Yeah.
just talked about that like 7 hours ago and you did it. So good
Yeah.
stuff. Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Let's go to Francesca.
Hello. I feel like I'm starstruck, Miguel.
It is me and live on this.
I can't believe it. Hi, everybody. Okay, my win is that I got to entertain my whole family today. Darn though, I missed the earlier call with you. I'll
That's
have to catch the replay.
yeah.
But yeah, I was feeling really bad when I woke up, and then I just said, "This is my nervous system," and I was like trying to like fight through it. And I cooked for everybody, and I just finished now. Probably gonna end up in a really spicy AP because I kind of like pushed myself. And I think that was a win for me because I was just really bad this morning, and then I just got through it. So I'm excited I got through it, but then my house is a mess, and I'm like trying not to look at the mess, but still got through it. So
Hey, you did it. It's basic. That's a big form of expanding activity right there. So big jump in activity. Probably gonna have an AP, but it's all part of the game of recovery. It's just part of the process. So well done and good on you for kind of saying yes to that opportunity. It is very nice that you could host the family. And soon you'll be doing that without any symptoms, any worries at all. It'll just be like second nature. So
I hope so. No, the thing that made me drain is I saw you not eat like the eating thing. So I'm like all this food and I'm still eating my chicken and rice, but I'll get there one day, I guess.
yeah,
All
once the
right.
food sensitivities go away, you'll be eating everything in your path, basically, once the food sensitivities lift. So thanks for sharing.
Okay, thanks, Miguel.
Yeah, nice to see you. Let's go to Greg.
Hey Miguel, hey everyone. So it's been a little bit since I've been on a call, and like honestly for really good reasons, because I'm just like living life and I feel like I always like have a plan and like I can't make the call and I'm like, well, it's for a reason because I'm like socializing or doing something active, and these last 2 weeks have been like, I mean, by far, like the most transformational weeks of my recovery, like in the 4 or 5 months that I've been in this program.
Amazing.
I've just done like so many cool things. Like I went on vacation like I went mountain biking with my friend, I went wakeboarding, like all these outdoor, like pretty intense physical activities. And I think like what I've learned to do is like I've done this stuff with him past, like healthy to, hey, I'm still recovering. So like I'm gonna have to take maybe short breaks here and there and make sure I pace myself. But like I still to the top of this mountain with him, and I went at a little bit of a slower pace, but it just felt really good to be able to do that. And then even like this week that I got back, I just like super active. Like even just with socializing and like friend's birthday, and like I had a couple drinks for the first time in a while, and like it didn't set me back at all. So I just feel like for the first time like in such a long time that I'm living almost a normal life. I think the only thing that is kind of still I'm working my way through things is like going to the gym. But like everything else, I almost feel back to my old self, and it feels really good.
Damn, that is awesome, dude. I'm so happy to hear that. That's one of the best reasons to miss these calls is because you're so busy living life. So congrats on leveling up and, you know, the past 2 weeks, that's just a result of all the work you've been putting in for the last several months, you know? And it's a good reminder, like great things take time. And I'm going to film a YouTube video about this, but there's this bamboo analogy where, not even an analogy, but bamboos, I think it's something like they take 9 years, they grow in the soil, they never break the soil. It takes 9 years to actually grow beneath the surface. So you would think that, oh, nothing's happening, like this bamboo is dead. But right after that, once it breaks the soil, it grows like 10 feet in the air pretty dang quickly. But it's all of the seeds that were planted, all the work that was done beforehand. So it's cool to see things shift for you, man. That's awesome. So just ride the momentum. This is exciting.
Yeah. And also the one other thing I'll share that I think had a big impact on all this is like I was really struggling emotionally I was in the middle of a job search. Like I started to get back into looking for a new job. And I just felt kind of trapped because I was looking for stuff like all in one market where I live, which is in New Jersey. And I just had this shift like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I just feel like this is a dead end and I'm going to start like looking in other parts of the country. And I think just like being open to that, like made my brain feel less trapped. And I think it just like
Yeah,
opened up a lot.
that's a good tip. That's a really good
Cool
tip.
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for sharing. That is epic. And share it in the community too, so everybody else sees it in case you haven't already. But good stuff, man. Really great wins.
I
Thanks for
will.
sharing,
Thanks.
dude. Cool. Crazy wins today, guys. This is pretty wild. I gotta tell the other coaches about this. Esmeralda. Esmeralda.
Hi, Miguel. Hello, everyone. So,
Hello.
my win for this week is I was able to shower every day without visualizing my showers. 3 weeks ago, when I started the program, I had a lot of trouble showering. And this week, I also added a 3-minute walk, and I was able to walk every other day. I'm a little fatigued today, but I keep reminding myself that my recovery depends on how well I respond to the symptoms, and it's actually working. So I want to
Crazy,
recover
right?
as soon as possible. So I have to respond well. So they're big wins for me because I've been fatigued for a long time, and me being able to shower and being able even to go outside. So I was excited.
That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. For me, those are some of the most exciting transformational times when I could take regular showers and not have to worry about overdoing it, or I didn't have to hype myself up to do something like that. I was able to just really enjoy the showers. Those are great. And then also getting outside, breathing in fresh air, like feeling the sunlight. It's a different
Yes,
world out there. And it was really nice to be back into the world like that again, or see glimpses of it. So keep it
yes,
up. You're
definitely.
crushing it.
And thank you.
Yeah, keep responding well. That is the golden rule. You do that, you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna crush it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. All right, let's go to Michelle.
Hi, Miguel. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. So I've basically been pretty much still at the stage of like my goal to be get out of bed every day. And I still haven't managed that a whole week of being out of bed every day. But in the last 2 weeks, I've been faced with all of these like things that I've had to do. And then I've been cleaning a house, trying to get it ready for a rental because I manage it for somebody who's not in this state at the moment. And I came home and I had been working physically hard. And I had water coming out my front door, and I came in my house and I had a burst water pipe in my kitchen, and I had about 2 inches of water all through about 80% of my house.
Ooh,
And my
gnarly.
wins were I felt this automatic shift into this negative mindset, and I just quickly reset it, and just changed it from like a woe is me attitude to this stuff happens, even though I felt overwhelmed, but I was very, very mindful of trying to keep my central nervous system balanced. So, and not have it re-engage in being more, hyper. And it took me about 2 days of like cleaning and putting furniture up and all of that kind of stuff. And I actually then also went out for dinner with friends, and I only had 2 days of AP. So I was really happy with that. That's a big win for me. So
That's a
after
huge
being
one.
physically exhausted, like exhausted for days, yeah, only 2 days AP was a massive reduction for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty cool how much you surprise yourself in recovery. I've had many days where I was like, okay, the tank is empty, gotta take it easy. The rest of this stays a write-off. And then I end up doing a whole bunch of other stuff, spontaneously, and it actually gives me more energy. I didn't do that all the time, but there were certain scenarios where I just had to do something, and it turned out to actually pull me forward in recovery. So it's pretty cool. And I think it shows you that, wow, there is more in the tank. My body is capable. It is stronger than I realized. So glad you got to experience that, and hope you're able to sort everything out with that leak. But good job on responding well. Good job. All right, let's go to Kate.
Hey everyone, hey Miguel.
Hello.
So I think I'm slowly edging out of my long spicy AP. And I guess when I was seeing like Lindsay and just like totally graying it out as much as we both could. Like my dad drove me out directly to where she was staying. And it was kind of refreshing having somebody completely on board with doing the right thing by each other, like by both setting boundaries and kind of trying to make sure that we both honored them. Because I guess like it'll probably happen on your trip in Spain, but it's like once you get talking to somebody that you have a lot in common with, you can just talk forever.
Yeah.
um, and so that was really cool. And I have had a ton of symptoms kind of come back up. So I guess I'm just realizing I need to pull back a bit further. And I recently got diagnosed with complex PTSD, and just realizing that when that gets triggered, it's a different type of AP essentially, and it's a lot harder to kind of work with and kind of respond to. So I'm just like trying my best to see this as just another dimension to kind of work out how best to respond in a way that's going to be as kind as possible to my nervous system because it tends to get overloaded too quickly. Um, so just doing my best to kind of not deep dive and spiral on that and just recognizing, okay, this is just another pattern that I'm just going to have to work through and not panicking
Mhm.
about it. So yeah.
Yeah. So a couple wins there. Well, obviously you got to hang out with Lindsay, which is pretty cool. Hang out with a fellow thriver, and the other one is, I guess, responding well to this diagnosis.
Hmm.
That's the win. There we go.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best response to a situation is really just preventing the downward spiral. So good on you for responding well to this. And there have been so many other thrivers also with complex PTSD, and it's still a similar approach, and then it completely goes away. So it's nothing to worry about there. You're in the right place. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Let's go to Lori.
Hi, Miguel. Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
Lori. How are you?
Um, well, I have been in a very, very long spicy AP, and then I had like 4 or 5 days off and had some wins. But my win today is when I was going back into an AP, I felt like, oh no, not this again. And I was in it for 2 days, and then today has been like one of the best days I've had in months. And so I was able to cook fried chicken, mashed potatoes for my husband, and a pie, and I was able to decorate, and I felt normally psychologically happy and upbeat, and I just felt a sense of, wow, you sure feel different when you're not in an AP.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was assuming that this AP was going to be super, super long. And that just shows you that you can't just make assumptions that when you feel that way, you can't make assumptions that this is going to be exactly like it has been. Just because you came out of a really long one doesn't mean this one's going to. So I've been feeling much more positive and upbeat today, and it just feels good, like
Nice.
human.
That's good. That's awesome. And you're absolutely right. Just because came out of a long AP doesn't mean this next one's going to be long. It could be short, could be long, could be medium. Bottom line, it doesn't even matter. Because the response is exactly the same. Respond well, and the nervous system will kind of just do what it does. And next thing you know, you focus on responding well, your brain just kind of like snaps out of it. And then you have, like you experienced, the best day in a handful of months. So well done on handling it like a champ. True thriver.
Thank
right there.
you.
Thanks for sharing.
So
All
glad
right.
you're here, Miguel. I love when you step into these calls.
Yeah, these are fun.
It's
These are so much fun. Actually, if if I had a choice, I would just run these calls all day long, honestly.
really,
But there's so much, these calls actually give me energy, but there's so much back end stuff. You guys will see it.
yeah,
We're going to be launching so many cool things, like the new website. I've been working on that for 6 months with some developer. It's live now. There's a few touch-ups, but there's a lot of behind the scenes that people
yeah,
don't realize happens at
yeah.
CFS Recovery.
Well,
I
we
love these
all know
calls.
though that passion is there.
Oh, it's
You're
there.
standing behind us and you're holding us up.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
appreciate everything you do
Thank you.
for
Thank
us.
you. Appreciate that. Thanks for sharing, Lori. All right, let's go to Demi.
Hey, Miguel. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Demi.
Hey. So yeah, super quick. My win is that I pulled back before I let myself overdo it. I have a lot of family that flew into town for my brother's wedding this Friday. And so it's just a lot of chaos. I'm here in my own apartment alone, so I'm having my little space. But I was over at my parents' and I knew they were coming home soon, and my body was for sure in the unmanageable zone. And I had that awareness like, ooh, I'm in the unmanageable zone. Okay, time to go home. Time to go just relax and be alone. And that was huge for me because normally I would just like, no, I really want to like socialize. I really want to like talk and hang out. And I put my health and my body first. And that's a pretty big thing that I've been trying to work on. So I was really happy that I did that yesterday.
Well done. Really great job reading your nervous system and then adapting to it, and then making a few changes in your activity. That's exactly how it's done. Really good stuff and great awareness.
Thank you.
That's how it's done. Keep it up. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Let's go with Ignacio.
Hey Miguel, so good to see you here.
Yeah.
I've got lots and lots of little wins, but the biggest one is I had a big mind shift. My wife is away this week for 5 days, and so it's me and my 2 boys. And so far we're doing really well. My wife was really nervous because I'm just coming out of a long, big AP, and I've noticed that my reaction to all of this has been very different to the past, where I would have probably going into worry and anxiety and trying to see all the things that could have gone wrong. But this time around, it's like, no, I've got this. And what's funny is that my wife was really worried, and I was the one saying, no, you go. I've got it all under control. Like if anything happens, we'll be fine. And yesterday, I took them we did mini golf, and then we also did a short hiking. And even today, I did my 20-minute walk in the morning, and I finished with a 2-minute run. So far, everything's going really great.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. That's awesome to hear. And it just reminds me of back in the day when, because my family was so used to me having flare-ups and adjustment periods, and they kept checking in on me. But then at some point it switched to like them trying to instill confidence in me that I could do things, to me reassuring them that, hey, no, I'm actually going to be okay. I know what to do. You don't have to worry about me. And it was nice to finally switch that dynamic. And that in turn gave me way more confidence too, because for the longest time, they kept having to check in with me. And now I was like, I'm good. You don't need to worry about me. So I love seeing the family wins, man. I see all of your posts in the community. So just keep it up. It's awesome.
Thanks, Miguel.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Awesome. All right, let's go with Nirja. How you doing, Nirja?
I'm good. Hi, Miguel. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I had a big win this weekend. It was a bit of a curveball. I got these strange heat rashes on my back, but I woke up in the morning and I thought it was bed bugs. And then I managed to like lift the mattress up and move it around with the help of one person and vacuum the whole thing and steam it. And, during that process, I was standing and walking around for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And then the rest of the day was fine. I did not have like a pain flare up, no trigger points flared up. There was like, usually my concerns are like myofascial pain knots, and usually standing for like about 5 minutes creates a lot of pain. But I think during that process, I guess I was distracted enough, and I was fine. And the next day there was like my shoulders and my neck, all of it was fine. The next day I was able to work and just kept movement manageable, but at least it was a productive day. Um, and then yesterday morning, while making my tea, I just felt like doing some squats, and I ended up doing 5 squats. And
There
it's
we go.
something like, yeah, and I've been planning on like trying to do one squat every day for the past, I don't know, 6 months. So, but I didn't think about it and I just did it, and it was just so awesome. Yeah.
Nice, nice, awesome. Well, great job responding well and then handling all those situations. And I remember the first time I did squats, I did like 10 bodyweight squats. And this is
Uh-huh.
like my first, I guess, exercise out of the hospital. This was probably maybe 2 to 3 months after I got out of the hospital. I was so sore after 10 bodyweight squats. I used to squat
Yeah.
like 300 pounds. And that's
Wow.
and it was okay. And then just bodyweight squats, I was so sore. So don't be surprised if you get a little bit sore, but that's great. That is great. You had the confidence to do that. It means you
Yeah,
trust your body a bit more.
it's still early in the morning, so I haven't gotten out of bed as yet, but we'll see.
Hey, if it's sore, that's a good thing as well. That's really good.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing.
Of course.
I'll share.
Thank you.
I'll share some of my wins. I mean, I kind of see myself as the guinea pig to see if these recovery principles really, really, really work, like to the absolute max. So I'm like, I consider a lot of my weeks almost like research and development. Let's push really hard and see what happens and make sure the symptoms don't come back. So I've been pushing very, very hard in all different areas, work, fitness, socializing, friends, all of these things, just trying to make the most epic summer and holding up. I'm holding up okay. And tomorrow I go to, actually, in less than 12 hours, I fly out to Croatia. It's like a 17-hour journey. Then flying, to London, then back for my grandma's 80th birthday, and then back to Portugal for the Thriver meetup. So sometimes I look at the amount of activity I'm doing and I'm like, this is more than a typical person, but I feel energized doing this. I don't feel tired at all. And it's just a reminder of, I guess, how far you can come regardless of where you're at on the recovery journey, because this was all a pipe dream 7 or 8 years ago when I was in the hospital. But now it's like, it's my reality. So just keep on going, keep on implementing the things, and the learning and growing never stops. But at some point, you shift from just recovering, like trying to get back to a normal life, to trying to maximize your potential in life, basically. I ran a few calls today earlier, beyond recovery calls. Those are people who have recovered. They were really sick before, but it's super cool to see how you can continue, I guess, expanding capacity even after recovery. But a lot of those principles, what will allow you to do that is the things that you're implementing right now. This is like rebuilding the foundation for the 2.0 version of yourself. So just keep up the great work. Keep up the great work, everybody. And yeah, I would consider myself probably crash proof at this point, unless I did something really crazy. I've been testing to see if these recovery principles work. I implement black and gray, gray behavior, staying away from the black and white tendencies, although I still have them. But yeah, the principles really do work. So just keep on implementing them. But without further ado, let's jump into the questions here. Let's go for it. Okay, so some people had their hands up prior. I guess I'll just start from the top. Zoom user. I can't remember who that is. Do you have your hand up?
That'll be me. I'm sorry about
that'll be
that.
you.
I
No
have
worries.
tried so hard. I don't know how to change my
You
name.
might just have to sign in. You might have to sign in on your phone and stay signed in. That might fix it, but I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh Miguel, that is so amazing. 7 years ago, to think like where you are now and where you've come from. It's so inspiring. It just fills me with so much hope. So much hope. We are also blessed to have you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
And these principles, they work. So yeah, I was telling you about how I was doing that upper body workout. And I've been doing this slowly over a few weeks, actually. Like, started off with like bench push-ups and just a few tricep dips and just a few, you know. And I was doing it in a safe way, and then I thought I was ready for the gym to do those the weight machines. It was about an hour later that I noticed my shoulders were almost like I couldn't even go for a walk because it hurt so much. So it hurt for about an hour or two. It did subside. And then, yeah, it seems to be the pec minor. And that seems to, and going for a walk sometimes, I feel like I've got to put my arm in a sling. So
is the question like, what's the specific question about this?
True, I'm rambling. The question did I do something to cause that at the gym, or is that just my brain? So is that my nervous system is what I'm asking, or did I actually do some muscle tissue damage or something?
I mean, I don't know what you did in the gym. Did you lift like heavy weights, or I mean, what did you do in the gym?
It was light. I was just doing some, chest presses and it was very lightweight. It was the lightest weight you could possibly do.
Oh, okay. If it was lightest weight, then I think you're just deconditioned. Kind of reminds me of when I did 10 body weight squats, and I was, oh man, I was sore for about 4 or 5 days after that. Same thing with push-ups. Like push-ups off the bench even. I did 10 of those, and then I was sore for about 3 days. Like, I felt my tendons and joints hurting because it was just so deconditioned. I think it's just I don't think you pulled anything.
So I don't need to like pull back from that. Do I just take a few days off and then go back and try again?
Oh yeah. I definitely pull back from it though. Like, don't do it tomorrow.
Wait
until it's not sore. I definitely wait until it's not sore.
Alrighty. Yeah.
Which could take a few days. Yeah.
A few days.
I literally thought I injured my legs because it wasn't just muscle, it was like tendons in my hips and knees. And I thought, like, well, I haven't really done any exercise for almost a year or two. I was like, okay, well, this will probably go away, hopefully, in a handful of days. And then it did. So,
Yep,
yeah.
that's good. I was freaking out because I thought I damaged something, and then I was like, oh no.
You're
But
good.
yeah, no, it's good. Thank you so much for that reassurance.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
cool. Yeah, keep it up. All right, let's go to Blaine.
Hey, Miguel. So my question is, how do you know if you're in a long AP or just had a loss of capacity? Basically, right before I joined the program, I dropped as low as I've been up until this last week, like I said earlier. But I moved into a house. I wasn't even ready. I was kind of forced into it. I was already kind of on the downward spiral, but I had to do it to put myself in a better situation. So that definitely put me over the top. When I joined the program, I was told I was putting into I've been in an AP for 3 months. However, with that last week, me dropping so much, I said, well, is that an AP within an AP? Or, has this been my baseline the whole time? And that was a true AP. Or does it really even matter in the end?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say it doesn't even matter. I would say because there is such thing as double dipping on an AP or triple dipping. It's like you can have a pretty lengthy one, but even then, like I don't even when I try to figure out if I was in an AP or not, I just assumed, okay, I'm gonna be symptomatic regardless of what I do. I almost always had symptoms. So I would just focus on, depending on what that level of discomfort is with the symptoms and the energy, just adjust your capacity off that. And I wouldn't even track or try to figure out if you're in an AP or if you're not. If you are feeling a bit, bit more symptomatic, I'd probably just assume you're probably still in one. If it's more than your usual feeling of symptoms. Now, if it's like that for a prolonged period of time, then overall, you just got to dial it back until those symptoms die down a little bit. So I wouldn't spend any energy trying to figure out, is this an AP or is this my new baseline? Doesn't even matter. I just dial it back a little bit. Plus, you did a bunch of activities, it sounds like, which were necessary to get into a better position. I'd really just dial it back. I mean, how long ago was that where you moved into the house?
It was about 3 months. I mean, I went
That
into
was
this
3 months
AP or
ago.
whatever it was, like literally a week before I joined the program. And the reason why I ask is because this whole 3 months, I've kind of been like, okay, I just do the right things and I'll bounce back to where I was before the AP, which was I've been housebound for 3 months. However, before that, I could go like the day I got into this AP, I went sign papers for the house, and it was that day, right? So I've kind of, I guess, I know it's not good to compare yourself to where you were, but I think I've been doing that the past 3 months, and I'm kind of realizing that now. And after this past week, I said, I've kind of been upset about where I was these past 3 months, but going through what I went through this past week, I'm kind of grateful. Like, I'm like, man, I had it, I was made in the shade. Like, it wasn't that bad after all. So it gave me a different perspective shift, which is good. But yeah, so that's why I bring that up.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, like we may not even realize it, but subconsciously we're almost timing this AP or timing when are I gonna get back to that previous capacity? Almost like subconsciously waiting for it to go away versus just focusing on doing other activities that you really enjoy. This is a question that came up on this morning's call as well, the Recovery Academy call, but this is especially for flare-ups that tend to last longer than it seems like they should. I've seen people experience 2, 3, 4, 5 month long adjustment periods when really it could have been like a 2 to 3 week adjustment period. And the reason it got prolonged so long is because they were waiting for it to go away. And they were like, well, I can't do this and this and this. I can't really enjoy myself. I have to wait for this, I guess, this darker cloud period to go away. I got to wait. It's almost like you're sailing across the ocean, right? You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. In recovery, I call it like the bad days are when it's raining and it's cloudy and there's storms and the waves are kind of hitting the boat. What you don't want to do is wait for that storm to go away to even be able to smile, or I don't mean literally, but enjoy yourself doing other activities. So you want to find activities that you really, really do enjoy that almost make you forget just temporarily for a short window of time that you're even sick. So I remember some of the most fun I ever had was when I was in a wheelchair painting pictures in the hospital. It sounds crazy, but I think to when I was traveling last month and I was in a concert with like 100,000 people jumping up and down. Me painting in that hospital was almost just as satisfying as that high energy activity, because I had to understand that I had to do, I had to make the most of the capacity that I did have. Essentially, I couldn't wait until I got to a higher level to do all these fun things, and all the fun things were up here to do. I had to find things that I could do at a lower level of energy that were just as fulfilling and enjoyable. So I would I would really try to find things, hobbies, or whatever activities that make you temporarily forget about the symptoms, even just for a few seconds at a time, because it starts to open up this area of your brain that is functioning more normally, that knows what it's like to not have symptoms just for short, uh, short bouts of time, essentially. But is that making sense so far, what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that helps a lot. And
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. This whole 3 months, I've kind of been like just waiting to get out and not quite enjoying, you know,
Yeah.
what the capacity that I do have. But like I said, this past week changed my perspective to where it's like, wow, I was basically bedridden for like 4 days. So now I'm like,
Yeah.
I would, I can't wait to go back to,
Yeah.
having a couple hours of being able to enjoy whatever I want. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
exactly. And that's a great way to look at it, man. I've definitely fallen into that many times where progress just plateaued and it was stagnant. And I didn't realize it's because I woke up every day checking in with the symptoms, being like, ah, man, still here. All right, maybe tomorrow I'll bounce out of it. And then it was almost like a write-off for the day. I'm like, well, maybe tomorrow's going to be better. When I could have done a lot of fun things that day and really enjoyed it. And that's what's going to pull you out of this. But all it takes is a few shifts like that. Maybe you've already had the shift because you double dipped or triple dipped. And you should be bouncing out of this one pretty soon, like pretty dang soon.
I think so. Now, if that was a double dip, I don't want a triple dip. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
okay, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, Miguel.
Yeah. Great question. Just keep it up, man. Keep on going. All right, let's go to Demi.
Okay, so my question is about I pretty much just want to know like if you experienced this and if you did how to go about it. So I pretty much go to bed every single day at 2 a.m. and I just keep telling myself like this is wrong, this is bad because there's so many studies that say people who go to sleep like at I think 10 a.m. and it's like proven and it's okay, that's science, that's data, that's real. And it also kind of scares me too because it sort of parallels my crash where before I had my big crash and went to the hospital and I was like you, like literally that's why I joined this program because when I saw the videos in the hospital, I was like, oh, same. That was 3.5 years ago where I would stay up till 2 a.m. binge watching YouTube. Now I did have a full-time job and I was in grad school during the day, but that's what I was doing at night. Now I'm just home all day and still doing that at night. So it's kind of a two kind of part thing about like staying up late and those thoughts about it. And then also just like this YouTube addiction, I'm having a really hard time getting rid of it. Like this algorithm
Yeah.
just basically grabs my brain and I feel like I'm not even myself. It just like takes over my brain. And then it's like, I know like some of the other coaches were kind of saying like, oh, okay, you have to like grade out and take baby steps, but I'm just struggling with that. Like, I feel like this is a real addiction. I'm like, do I need to go to 12-step for this? Like, is that crazy? Or like, I feel like maybe I really need to go cold turkey, because there are some addictions that you can't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking of like
Yeah.
really crazy ones, like heavy drugs or something. Like, yeah, I know it's not that, but low key feels like that for me in my brain. And yeah.
Yeah, so I'm smiling right now because that
Mhm.
algorithm's got me too. Like I'm up till 2, 3. I don't want to be up till 2 or 3 or 4 a.m., but it's got a grip on me. And that whole addiction thing, I'm telling you, it's real. We actually talked about this. This also came up on the earlier call. It was the first question of the earlier call. How do you deal with addiction and things like that? I'm like,
Mm.
brother, I'm very addicted to my phone. I sleep very late. When it comes to sleeping late, it's actually not as bad. I mean, yeah, it's not the healthiest thing, but
Mhm.
it's not the worst thing in the world. I used to also stress a lot about this because I've read the studies. And even with light, there's this book called Sleep Smarter. It says if there's even a little tiny bit of light, it lowers your sleep quality by like 33%. Shown this a light the size of a quarter on the back of someone's calf. And that's the only light that they had, and his sleep apparently dropped by like 33%. I was like, uh-oh.
Wow.
So the whole room has to be perfectly black. I can't have any light. And then there was the stuff like, oh, every hour later you sleep, your telomeres get shorter, which means you live shorter. And then th- they were showing pictures of all these telomeres. And I'm like, at some point, I was like, dude, just let me live my life. I'll sleep late if I want to. Okay. And then now I don't stress out about it. Sometimes I sleep at 1, 2, 4, 5, and I'm fine. As long as you could like take naps the next day, it's actually not that bad. Not as bad as they make it seem. And right now, your sleep's going to be all over the place as well, because you have a hypersensitive nervous system. Um, so I would just basically, yeah, there's studies and science on it. But what I did, at least what worked for me, was I was like, it's not that big of a deal. I'll catch up on the sleep. I literally told myself that, and now my sleep is. I feel energized because I'll just take naps during the day if needed. In terms of the phone addiction, right? And I know how my brain works, and probably most of us on here, a good majority. The whole reason we got CFS in the first place is there's like an excess amount of energy in our nervous system. And the way I see a lot of my behaviors, the reason I have a very addictive personality is there's so much pent up energy that needs to be directed somewhere. And it's going to be directed towards something it's used to, like a path of least resistance. So I see certain activities, my brain is just like on autopilot. It will automatically go there and do those things. It's because it's
Mhm.
also the most comfortable doing them, like picking up a phone. I put a blocker on my phone for certain apps, and of course I
Mhm.
deleted that blocker so I could get access to the apps again. But I was surprised at how many times I picked up the phone throughout the day, like without even thinking about it. I'm like, why is my phone in my hand and it's telling me you can't access this app? It was like a pattern interrupt. But I'll pick up my phone a few hundred times a day. So I realized how I'm combating this addiction, and you know, and it's working. It's actually helping quite a bit. I need to replace that addiction with a healthier addiction, basically. So maybe it's even within that same activity. Maybe it's like my brain just it can't go to sleep unless I watch some YouTube videos, right? Or scroll Instagram. I'll make that time at least somewhat productive. So I'll learn about things instead of watching brain rot like cat videos and random stuff, right? I'll actually go down the educational parts of YouTube because at least I'll get something out of it. And then it's actually a little bit more boring than random cat videos. Those videos are actually pretty fun to watch. But I just had to direct that energy towards a
Mhm.
different kind of, I guess, something different. Now, I started with direct that energy instead of brain rot videos that I don't get anything from, but it feels like taking a drug. It's like satisfying. I'll watch some educational videos about business or health or whatever. And then now I'm starting to read a little bit more as well. I'll take some of that energy and try to put it into something else. But that's what I found. Also, when I'm super bored, I'll pick up the phone and it's like a deep rabbit hole, like a 2 or 3 hour rabbit hole if I'm bored, and I'll keep scrolling. It's like I'm possessed. I can't stop. I just keep going. So I have to direct that energy somewhere else. So I've been playing more guitar lately. I'll go for a drive, go to the beach or something, but it's a real thing. It's a real thing. I think look for other activities to replace it with, because that energy, it's not just going to go away. That's why cold turkey doesn't work. You'll also feel like you're going crazy. So now you have all this energy that's looking for an outlet. It's like with CFS, here's something interesting. A lot of people with CFS, they have that type A personality. They're used to controlling things. They're used to, being able to control every aspect of stuff, and they're perfectionists. So what happens when you get CFS? You can't really work. You can't go to the gym. You can't do all your other hobbies you used to do. So those same perfectionist traits and type A personalities, it's just redirected towards CFS. So now you're constantly checking in with symptoms, constantly tracking things, constantly measuring how intense or how long the flare-up is. This also came up earlier with addiction and perfectionism. I got addicted and became a perfectionist for recovery. So I just directed it towards a healthier thing. And it's interesting because a part of recovering properly or in the best way possible is to not be perfect. So it's kind of some inception stuff there. Like in order to be perfect at recovery, I had to be okay making mistakes and not be perfect, because that's how you do recovery, if that makes sense. But yeah, I had to get addicted to the right things, basically. This is why I don't watch TV shows really. I was just talking about it on a call before this, or else I will binge watch the whole thing in one day. I don't care what time it is. Or I don't play video games, because I will finish the game in like 24 hours, 2 days straight. I will play. I got a projector at my house. I haven't watched a single movie on it because I know I'm going to get addicted to Netflix. So I'm like, I should probably return that projector. But I mean, does that help a little bit? I know I just shared a lot of stuff with you.
Yeah, no, especially like the part about to get perfect at recovery, you kind of have to be
not perfect. Yeah.
I guess that's kind of how I've been feeling. Like I've been feeling like I'm not doing recovery perfect. Like I feel like I'm not, but I guess like accepting that I'm not going to do it perfect helps.
Yeah,
and that totally makes sense to replace it with something better. My capacities, I'm still really low on the triangle. I'm housebound, and so it's hard to come up with things to do. But I'll try maybe just kind of getting back into it. The only thing that does kind of fear me is kind of that's what I told myself, like, okay, I'm staying up till 2 a.m. No big deal. I'll get better at my sleep later. That's what I told myself before the crash. Like I remember like back in 2021, just like, oh, whatever, like, I don't know. I was just kind of having that same mindset of just like, I'm just going to stay up. It doesn't matter.
But the difference now is that you don't have school and work and all this other stuff on top of sleeping late, right?
Right. Yeah. I guess I just kind of beat myself up because I end up sleeping until noon every day. And then I just tell myself,
okay. I did that a lot.
Yeah, because I'm still like, my body needs 10, sometimes 12, 14 hours. And I kind of be myself like, oh, how are you going to get a job or live a normal life if you're sleeping until like.
Yeah, you worry about that when the time comes to get a job. Like I used to think the same things. I'm like, I sleep super late. I feel like a lazy bum waking up at 1 p.m. But I'm like, well, I don't have any obligations. The only obligations I have are the non-existent obligations that exist in my head. Why do I feel like I need to wake up at 10 a.m.? I don't have a job. I don't like the time will come when you do have a job, but at that point, your sleep will be fixed. So I would also tell yourself, just you'll figure that out when you get there. But right now, it's like you could totally sleep in. I used to do that a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, hope that helps. Then especially with the addiction thing, just redirect that energy towards something else. Journaling might help. And you don't need to redirect, or you don't need to I'm trying to say is it won't take very long for your body to get away from being latched into that activity. Like a week of journaling, replacing some of the phone stuff with journaling, that's all you really need to get unhooked from constantly scrolling on that phone. Doesn't take too long. Just need to break the cycle.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, awesome. All righty. All right, we'll go rapid fire here. We'll keep the questions short, concise, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Let's go, Andrea.
It's funny because I can relate with the phone, addiction a little bit.
Yeah.
My excuse lately in AP to just get the phone and watch. I love cat videos and funny videos, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't like this before. So I'm glad you brought the subject up because I need to redirect my focus, which it's
Yeah.
reading something else. So my question is, now that I realize I'm so black and white, with work, then too much rest. So the first day, even if I have a spicy AP, I will still get out of the house. We talked about it.
Yeah.
But on the second day, usually I just get out, I go for a very long walk, I spend time in nature, and I, do little things. Is that enough?
Oh yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
enough? Okay.
Yeah.
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 And the third day, I usually work out for like an hour and I go to the gym. So I really want to make sure I'm doing the right things. Okay. Thank you so much. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem. Just when you guys are figuring out or adjusting your activity levels, think about it like driving a car, basically. And you want that ride to be as smooth as possible. And think about it. I think most of us on here are old enough. It was like a standard car where you actually had to manually shift gears, put the clutch in. When we go from a lot of activity to very little activity, as in like, say we work a bunch and then the next 2 or 3 days you're just at home, right? Or you're just at home and then you go do this big thing and then there's no middle ground. It's kind of like shifting from gear 1 to gear 5 for that standard car. It's going to be really clunky. It's still doable, but you're gonna mash up the clutch in that car. You could stall the engine, and better to go from gear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back down. It's a much smoother transition on the nervous system. And your nervous system, I'm still trying to figure this out so we can really pinpoint it, but it almost has like this gear system where it can switch into different modes. That's why sometimes the first 5 minutes of an activity can feel pretty rough, but then after that, it's like your body's warmed up. It's because it transitions into a different gear. And same thing coming back down. So really interesting, but yeah, we're on the right track, Andrea.
Makes a lot of sense with the
Yeah.
gear and the system. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. All right, let's go with Jared.
Yeah, so by the way, you guys have had great questions, by the way. Mine is I'm still struggling with this one symptom. It's basically, I'll just say my legs, like feeling like I have like sore, like achy legs all the time. And I'm not sure, like I'm having trouble figuring out if I'm doing too much or too little, because it's always there. And it's like you were saying, like with your tendons and like your joints and everything like that, it just feels like that's painful. And then also like the heavy feeling in the legs and everything. And I've been in AP for the last probably week and a half, and I haven't really been doing that much. I haven't really been going on any walks, but as soon as I do, I feel it so heavy. So I'm just kind of wondering if I should pull back even more right now. I'm like, because I'm not even really doing that much, so I'm just confused.
Well, if you're walking, if they already hurt before you're walking, and you're in a flare for like the last week and a half, I probably wouldn't do that walking, or at least just instead of walking, just walk way shorter and just go sit down somewhere, so you could get outside. But you're probably, thing is, I don't know exactly what you're doing. Like, I'd have to know a lot more details. in order to say if you're doing too much or too little. But based off what you're saying, it sounds like you should probably pull back right now a little bit. And I would really implement the brain retraining for chronic pain if you are having leg pain. But are you already
Yeah.
doing that?
Yeah, I still do all that. And like you said, I just went to the park earlier. I just sat there, and
Okay.
that helps too. Every time I can just clear my mind and like stay away from screens, because for like almost 3-4 months I was in this, I don't even know if it was AP, it was just a new symptom. I feel like I'm always in an AP, so I always have the symptom, but it was a new symptom I wasn't used to. It was like the brain on fire. And so
Mm,
that's been going away. And I was like excited about that. I've been binge watching this show, like you're talking about addiction. But now it's like going back to the legs. So I'm like, maybe it's just my nervous system's trying to recalibrate right now.
yeah,
I
sounds
don't
like
know.
it's playing what do you call it? It's having some symptom rotation. Sometimes that could happen actually, where the symptoms slightly change. Like let's say you have burning legs, and then it changes to mainly burning headaches or something or brain fog. It could go right back to the previous symptom. It'll pretty much do
Yeah.
anything it can to try to keep you um, in that survival state, and it'll kind of fake you out, say, "Oh, leg pain is actually going away." No, it's not. We're back, just to see what you do with it. So I'd continue to just dial it back a little bit for the time being, and just relentlessly do that brain retraining for chronic pain. And trying to think, I used to take cool showers as well, like 3 times a day, because that really helped almost reset the pain in my body, because I had a lot of burning sensations all over as well the first few months out of the hospital, actually the first several months. Um, you might want to try that as well. Cool
Yeah.
shower in the morning, cool shower at night. Um, it's almost like putting out the fire, like the burning sensations in your body. I was taking like 3 to 4 showers a day, actually, my first probably month out of the hospital. 'Cause the burning was so intense.
Yeah, I've been in the program, the academy, for a year, and like everything was. I mean, it was kind of nice that I had this new symptom, because I know the symptom rotation is a good thing. But now that the leg thing came back, it really gave me my doubts again about my recovery, and I
Mhm.
think that's another thing that was kind of messing with me. And I think maybe that's another thing that's kind of spiraling a little bit. I'm still trying to swat it away, but
Yeah.
also I do that every night, like the cold showers you were talking about,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that helps me sleep for sure. I think that's a good idea, like you said, do it more than just the one time. Do it
Hmm.
multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So don't let this symptom get you off track and pull you back to where you were before. Sounds like it's a symptom that's popping up again. So continue responding well, do the brain training, and it'll go away.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's go to Dominic.
Miguel, hey. My question is about anticipation. And,
Hmm.
what's been really helping my recovery is doing ceramics and pottery. And so last Friday, I signed up to a market, my first market in 2 months. And the moment
Nice.
I pressed confirmed, my brain freaked out. And I was like, no, I was so confident before I pressed confirm. And then it's like, how am I going to handle the market and all these people? And that's kind of what's triggered my AP. And I'm like, it's in 2 months. I'll be so much better in 2 months. And also, I don't even need to go. It was only $70. If ever I'm not good on the day, I
Mm,
don't need to go. But for some reason, like it's taken me down. And I'm trying to get out of this anticipation, but I don't know, I'm finding it quite hard.
yeah. Yeah. It's a great question. So, I mean, it's good that you can postpone it or back out, right? So it's more of like a mental commitment. It's more like, oh shoot, I committed to this. Was I really ready for this? What what activities does it entail, the market?
Sitting down on a chair and talking to people, which I'm totally fine with. You know what? If last Friday had put me in a market, I would have been fine. but just knowing that I have to wait 8 weeks, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I can't, I can't keep thinking about it for 8 weeks. I'm just like, get it over and done with.
Yeah. 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 Is there any kind of activity you can do similar to that sooner?
Mm.
So in your brain, you can almost just check it off the list versus having it waiting there in the back, or
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And you know what? I think the markets are on this Sunday, so I was thinking of just going to the markets and just like I can't attend this Sunday, like I can't sell, but I can just go as a customer and
yeah.
just check out the store and just see, like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's loud. There's lots of people, but I can just stay an hour or two and then head home. So I think, yeah, I'll do that. I'll just go to the markets.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely do that. Just get in that environment and be like, oh, it's familiar. It's actually not that
Yeah.
bad. Then you'll get a good feel for it. And I think that would probably solve it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Miguel.
Yeah, no problem. That's gonna be exciting. All right. Let's go to John.
Hi, Miguel.
John.
I have two quick questions.
Sure.
The first one is I traditionally I've had longer APs, and now my APs have started getting shorter, which is quite nice. And so several of the shorter APs, I've got times where I've kind of gone in and out of the AP at the tail end of the AP, sometimes 10 times in one day, where I've kind of like, okay, I'm in the AP, I'm not in the AP, I'm in the AP, I'm not in the AP. I know you're smiling, so you probably have lots of that too. So is it better for me to, get up and do something, or is it better just to, keep relaxing in those times? What's the best approach when it's those, particularly when it's like 10 times in one day?
If it's 10 times in one day, I would just I'd probably find the middle ground so you're not like stopping and going again. If it flips back and forth 10 times in one day, it's probably almost your brain amplifying it. The symptoms, I'm almost never seen the physical symptoms actually change that frequently throughout the day. So it's probably your brain like amplifying the sensations you are feeling. And when the sensations drop a little bit, your brain's like, wow, it's really gone. Oh, now it's really here. So it's making those symptoms louder than they probably are. I would try for a few days, if not a week, almost pretend like those ups and downs aren't even there. Just keep doing what you're doing, and those things will probably go away. Because you're at a point now, if you walked 8,000 steps the other day and all the other stuff you're doing, it's not really going to hurt you to kind of just continue going about your day. Now, in terms of what that actually looks like, instead of stopping and starting and taking 10 breaks throughout the day, I'd take like 2 or 3 longer ones throughout the day. Like, how long are your typical breaks when you do sit down for a little bit?
You know what? I can't give you an accurate assessment because I've spent so much time in APs that, my real breaks, like probably today, for instance, I'm not in an AP, so maybe 20, 25 minutes, the breaks.
Okay. Let's try this. For the next week, the whole term adjustment period, let's actually get it out of our minds. And you're just gonna fine tune the amount of activity you're doing just based on the discomfort you feel. But in an AP, out of an AP, APs don't exist, at least for your scenario, for the next 7 days. And I think once you start shedding this idea of being definitely in one or definitely out of one, it's going to help a lot. Because I remember I'd almost wear different hats. Different versions of Miguel would exist, whether I was in one or out of one. And transitioning back and forth, it was very tiring. So then it got to the point where I'm just like, I'm going to be symptomatic and I'm going to feel symptoms. It's just a matter of how much or how intense those symptoms are. And just based on that, I'm just going to adapt what I'm doing. I actually coined the whole term adjustment period to explain what happens when you increase activity or when you experience a flare-up, but there is no actual like coming in and out of one. It's a very blurred line. So particularly in your case, that's what I would do. I would just don't even think about if you're in one or out of one. Imagine the APs don't even exist. Imagine there's just a dial or there's some kind of meter of stimulation, and that goes up and down throughout the day, right? It's correlated with your symptoms. And based on that, your activity level is going to match or roughly match that level of stimulation you have. So can you picture that though? There's like a meter in your mind.
Yeah, it's kind of
activity changes.
It's kind of what I've been doing because I'll go in and out of activities depending on what is happening with those sensations. But I think the funny part for me is it's more pronounced because my voice changes when I get those sensations boost. Like I've got my normal voice now, but everybody on the calls has frequently heard me with my Bruce Wayne voice.
I think I've heard it too.
Yeah. So that starts right away, and it's interconnected with when I have those other strong sensations that come up. So okay, well, I'll just kind of keep on just not going to overwhelm, but going to be a little bit uncomfortable in those.
Yeah.
And
I think go ahead.
And then second question is, I'm leaving for Edmonton. I'll be flying out of Abbotsford on Friday, which is nice. I'm going to go stay with my sister for a week. And
nice.
My tendency has been to spend 2 or 3 days out of APs and then flip back into them. That's typically what I've seen a lot of the time. It's not always that way, but a lot of times it's been that way. Leading up to when I'm leaving, should I just try and take it easy a little bit more to sure that that's a little bit more seamless?
Yeah, I definitely take it a bit easier, but dial things back just a little bit, a few days leading up to it, so you have energy on the trip. But I think this is going to be really good because it's going to be what we call a novel experience. It's just different from what you're used to. I could totally see you completely leveling up after this trip. Walking through the airport, sitting on the plane, carrying your bag, a lot of steps, just new environments. I've seen a lot of people right around your level of recovery. They go on a trip and just unlocks a whole new level. So that's really exciting, man. I think that's going to be huge.
I have no fear of doing it because I went to Calgary when I was in the
nice
3-month AP, and it was super, super difficult, but I got through it. So if I'm not in an AP, it's gonna be quite enjoyable, I think.
I think you're gonna do great. So
okay,
cool,
thank
man.
you very much.
Yeah, no problem. All righty, I could stay on for another 11 minutes. I have my grandma here. We're gonna go eat food after. She's the one who helped me recover, actually. But all right, let's dive into these questions. Go for it, Lindsay.
Hey, Miguel.
Hello.
That if I have a big win, soon afterwards, like maybe the next day or sometimes sooner, I feel a capacity increase, which kind of shocks me, like that's even possible. And I'm just wondering if you're able to explain like what's actually happening in the nervous system, for that to be possible.
Yeah. And could you give me an example of a win you had and where you experienced this?
Sure. Like even just today. So like I woke up today not like with lots of symptoms, not feeling very well at all. My husband said, "Oh, the electrician's gonna come by like now." And I was like, "Oh no." And he's a friend of my husband's, and anyway, so I let him in the house and ended up talking to him for like 20 minutes, like a normal human conversation, which is not always possible for me. So it surprised me, and then afterwards I like just felt better because it had happened.
Got it. So you surprised yourself because you weren't feeling the best, but then you did something and you actually felt kind of normal during that 20 minutes. Yeah. So with wins, the reason we want to have some wins, and wins, when I say wins, it could be something you're really excited about, something happy about, or something that just makes you feel normal again. What it does to your brain is it gives you that sensation, that feeling, that short experience of what it even feels like to be normal again. And to a normal person, I mean, we're so used to feeling symptoms in the beginning, feeling doom and frustration and even some depression. So when you get glimpses of these positive experiences of things working, things going well, it's almost like if you've been, kind of drowning in water and you come up for fresh air. And that experience, that positive experience, it's a reference point for your brain. It creates that reference point. So now your brain goes, oh, that's what it feels like to be a little bit normal. That's what it feels like to be happy. Now it has something to work towards, because our brain can get stuck in just being in a loop of symptom, survival mode, symptom, things not going right. But now you get this glimpse up here. It's like seeing the light in a dark cave. There's a light. Now there's a reference point that it can work towards. So the more wins you have, the more areas of your brain, it's like, oh, that's normal, that's normal, that's normal. And then naturally, it can just accidentally cross that path sometimes on the way to doing something else. I really look at it like roads, millions of roads in your brain. And it gets really confused. It doesn't know what it needs to work towards unless you bring up that feeling again and remind it of what it feels like to be normal. That's why doing simple tasks like me painting when I was in a wheelchair in the hospital was a really nice, pleasant, enjoyable experience. I forgot what that even felt like. So now my brain goes, oh, that's what that feels like. Let's try to continue working towards that. And over time, it just becomes easier and easier for it to get to that point, and then it becomes automatic. But does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it really does. Thank you for explaining it. Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. Because I thought, is it like I'm feeling hopeful? Because,
Yeah.
I'm, there's not much progress that I'm actually seeing or feeling. So it's just that moment of all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, this light comes on. And it's like, yeah, I feel a bit normal. I feel a bit hopeful.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. You're reminding your brain of what it feels like to feel normal again. Even for 1 minute, sometimes even for 30 seconds, it's huge, because that's where it starts. Now your brain can continue trying to achieve that same feeling again, and it'll find ways to get there. It'll naturally just start responding better, because that's how it can get to that point, or not spiral from symptoms and things like that. So the more wins you have, the better, because think of it like a spot in your brain. It grows bigger and bigger and bigger over time, to the point where your whole brain, wow, now everything knows how to function normally again. So that's kind of how it is, at least how I picture it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. All right, let's go to Francesca.
Okay, I have a question. So I got through my day, right? And then at the end of my day, my foot has been like really bad. I had surgery on it, couldn't walk, blah blah blah. But my mother-in-law said, "Oh, I heard you're going for your CAT scan next week." Now this has been like a big problem for me. Anyway, make a long story short, she tells me the girl that had the CAT scan with the contrast, she died from the contrast. And this is my fear the whole time, because I have like mast cell issues. So am I gonna get the contrast and am I gonna go down? I don't know. But now my brain is like spiraling and it just won't stop.
Yeah.
It's like after talking myself into doing it, like for 2 weeks now, I kept canceling, rescheduling, canceling, and then it's like devil's advocate today. She throws this at me. She said, "Did you see the article?" And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah,
So
why'd she have to
that's
tell you that?
wait, that's my one question. I'm trying to make this so quickly because I know you have to go. But and then my second question is, I got to walk yesterday to a fair. Like we had a park really far away, and then I couldn't focus. Like once I got in there, and I was just like kind of like, okay, like it's my nervous system, and I try to like play games with my son, but then it was like hard to focus. It was really
hmm
weird. So
hmm
those two things, if you could quickly rapid fire though.
Yeah, so with a contrast thing, you're gonna be fine. You'll be okay. That's like 1 in a million chance, or one in a how many hundreds of thousands chance. I think you'll be perfectly fine. it's just one of those horror stories you hear about that like, never ever happened. Um, and the second question was so it was remind me again, what was the actual second question? Something about you weren't able to
So,
think.
so like when I go somewhere, like I can't like okay, I walk like I never walk a lot, so then I walked from where we parked like a couple of blocks away, and then I got to the actually event, and then I couldn't
Mm,
focus. Like
mm.
I felt like I was like a derealization, depersonalization kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Those kind of things, those get better over time, especially if this happened when you got to the event, right?
Yeah, like it was a fair outside, but
Yeah,
it was a lot of people. So I was just telling myself, okay, maybe like overstimulation.
yeah,
And then my face started burning. And then I was like, okay, what I do is I freeze a water bottle and I just like kind of, because when I bring
yeah,
like my ice roller, everybody's questioning me, like, oh, is that for wrinkles? And I'm like,
yeah,
nah.
yeah. So, that's quite common when your brain gets into uncomfortable situations, especially with lots of stimulation, which sounds like there was here. Our brain can deploy these sort of airbags, right? Airbags to protect us from all the stimulation. So instead of a normal person can go in there, they're fine. Our brain actually turns down a lot of like brain activity to create a cushion because if it's so hypersensitive that if it stayed at that level, it would be way too much. So to compensate that creates like a cushion on all the symptoms, but it also like kind of dumbs us down. Like our IQ kind of goes out the window. Memory recall it's not very good. Um, Even just processing speed, like we can feel like our brain is reacting in slow motion time, but it's essentially our brain deploying like airbags on the environment around us to kind of protect us from being overstimulated. So that's probably what happened in that situation. This can happen in any kind of situations where we do feel unsafe as well. Like our brain can mentally check out and dumb everything down because it anticipates it's going to be overwhelming to process everything. But over time, that does get better. Like as your nervous system
Okay.
functions more normally, you'll be able to roll up to that fare and be completely fine. It's probably gonna happen again.
I just like the fear is because like when I used to before I got this, I used to drive and then I felt like I couldn't focus on the road like in front of me. Right now I'm not driving, but
Yeah,
it was like hard to focus and I'm like, "Oh my God, this feels like the same freaking symptom from the first thing, like the focusing kind of thing."
yeah. So yeah, like
Okay.
I said, that's gonna get better over time. And with that, as long as you're aware of what's happening, which is your brain is like basically deploying airbags on the situation, it'll prevent you from getting freaked out about it. It is a weird symptom, but it is definitely a symptom though, and it does go
Yeah.
away.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thanks so
yeah,
much for everything.
no problem. All right, we got three questions, but I literally have like 3 minutes, so we will definitely have to go rapid fire here. Ignacio, go for it.
Thanks, Miguel. My question is sort of an extension to what John was saying about short little APs. So I'm having very inconsistent APs and very inconsistent symptoms. And for example, like yesterday I did 20-minute yoga session and nothing happened. But early today I did 5 squats and my legs got so stiff that I could hardly move. Now, the only variable that is different is that I'm having a new symptom, which is very light sleep. And I'm wondering whether my brain is adjusting to that because I'm so confused on like my baseline is all over the place. And even, that zone, like the zone where you should be expanding, I'm no longer, I don't know how far to go these days because I just don't know if I'm going to get a reaction. So that's my
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely tricky if you're doing such a wide variety of activities, right? Like for example, with your kids, you did you went on a little hike, then you did something
Yeah.
else, and you did something else. It was all different stuff, right? So it makes it pretty unpredictable to know how much you're going to flare up or what will even trigger a flare up. Also, the light sleep, that's It's definitely a factor that will come into play here. So especially because you have kids, kids also are unpredictable. So I wouldn't worry too much about um, trying to be a few steps ahead. I would actually just start trusting. I would tell yourself, future Ignacio will be able to handle whatever comes his way, whether that's 1 hour from now or 6 hours from now or tomorrow or next week, whatever comes up. I've been through so many progress cycles. I'll know exactly what to do in the moment, and that should help a lot. But with a variety of things you're doing, I think that's pretty common that you are experiencing
Yeah.
this inconsistency, and
Okay, so it's not a
yeah.
matter of reducing, but just keep responding well to whatever happens.
Yeah, exactly. And the yoga thing, that could have built up a whole bunch of stuff in your stimulation threshold. Like maybe the yoga built it up to here, and
Yeah.
then the 5, what is it, push-ups or squats you said?
Squats, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the 5 squats like filled it up a little bit more, but it hit that kind of trigger or that tipping
Yeah.
point. It could have been that. That's why you don't want to really tie adjustment periods always to certain activities, especially if you're doing a variety of things. So I would tell yourself that in your particular situation, I'd say, future Ignacio, he'll know exactly what to do when the next AP comes or next flare up.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
And great call. I'm going to definitely listen to this again. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a great
Thanks,
call. This was
Miguel.
lots of fun. You got it, man. All right, let's go to Lori.
I'm really proud of myself of how I respond well for the past 6 months. But when I get in those spicy APs that are pretty intense, where it lasts longer, it goes on and on and on, and I get a new symptom and I have to lay more, it becomes overwhelming and discouraging, and the negative AP brain comes. It's hard to not.
Yeah, what's the specific question? I
What is
I
some
don't mean to
tips
cut you
when
off,
you're?
but I really
That's
gotta run.
okay, honey.
Yeah.
What are some tips in that time of that AP brain, because it just fogs up and when you can't do that much other than listen to audios, and it's just super hard when it becomes that intense.
Yeah. Well, at least what I did that helped me is when those difficult times came, I told myself, this is what I've been training for. All the recovery principles, this whole recovery thing comes down to these kind of moments. These are the tests that see if I'm ready for the next level. And the more difficult those times were, the more doubts I had about certain situations, the more I knew I had to buckle down. As long as I had awareness of what was going on, because I knew I was fine last week. I was fine for the last month. Now all of a sudden I'm having doubts and I'm feeling really shaky about all of this stuff. I had to almost catch myself and look a layer deeper. So like take a step back and kind of observe what I was actually telling myself. And I would tell myself, this is those what do you call it? These were those tests that my doctor told me about. These were those voices that my doctor said I would experience when I would have these adjustment periods. And these were the tests. So as long as I knew it was a test, and I would look at them like that, I saw it as a test, a temporary test as well. That word temporary helped so much because I knew it wasn't going to last forever. In the moment, it feels like it will, though. I just had to tell myself, I've been through this so many times. I know this is temporary. And I would literally tell myself, this is where champions are made. This is where it really matters the most, So that's kind of what I told myself. Maybe that's something you could tell yourself as well. This is where it counts the most to respond well.
Well, thank you very much. Have fun with your grandma. She has to be extremely proud of you.
Yeah, she is. She still doesn't even know what CFS was. She's like, "Oh, it was all in your head, right? You just thought better." Like my whole family, they still don't understand what I kind of went through. I'm like, yeah, as long as I'm better now, that's okay. So it's funny. I take care of her now, drive her around to appointments and help her do groceries. Before she was helping me, like spoon feed me.
Oh,
So the roles switched.
you're such a blessing to so many people, Miguel. Thank you for what
Thank
you
you.
do. Thank you for our program.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. We'll go for one more. Don't want to leave you hanging, Lubomir. Go for it.
Hi, Miguel. I
Hello.
just had a quick question about diet. What
Sure.
I learned from you is that handling emotions is way more important than diet is.
Yeah.
And as long as we eat healthy, of course. Have you found any benefits in, let's say, more frequent versus one meal a day or
Mhm.
higher carb keto? Because lately, for a few weeks now, I've been doing one meal a day and keto, and I've been enjoying it, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if you see with other people what has been more successful for them, or does it matter much?
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter too much. Some diets work really great with certain people. And also, I find I move in and out of different diets. Like lately, I've been doing, well, actually for about a month, I've been doing intermittent fasting. So I won't eat until like 3 or 4 p.m. and I'll just have a huge meal, like a double meal or triple meal, and eat everything from like 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Um, but before, I know earlier on in my recovery, I needed more frequent meals. I think my blood sugar was just all over the place. So it changes time to time. If you found something that works for you and feels pretty good, honestly, I just keep doing that. Um, and there were times when intermittent fasting didn't work for my recovery. It actually made me worse. And it's funny because I usually eat very, very healthy, but I was having a lot of skin issues. Like I'd be breaking out and stuff. And I would tell the coaches, they would always tell me, Miguel, it's because you're stressing about your skin. You eat one chip, you start stressing out. That's why you break out. It's a nervous system. I'm like, I didn't really believe them. But anyways, I tested it out. I was like, screw it. I've been eating Wendy's for the last week with fries and sauces and burgers and stuff. And my skin completely cleared up because I just stopped caring about it. I was like, screw it. I'm gonna eat whatever. Meatball marinara Subway sandwiches, and my skin actually improved more than when I was eating perfectly healthy. I'm like, wow, it still surprises me what the nervous system is capable of. So I think emotions are definitely more important than the diet. But if your emotions are pretty under control and you find something that works for you, that's like the best combo. So it sounds like you found what really works for you. I'd keep doing that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna take the grandma out to go eat, and take it easy, everybody. Nice to see you all on here. So many epic wins, by the way. This was a really great call. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of this one, and we will see you guys on the next one. Keep on crushing it. Get you guys to thriving
Miguel,
health.
how old is she?
She's turning 80, actually. Turning
Oh,
80 on September 16th. So I'm actually flying back because it's her surprise birthday. I'm emceeing the
oh,
whole thing, but literally flying back from Europe for a surprise birthday. Because my grandpa, actually, if you guys know my story, he was helping me when I was sick.
yeah,
Before he passed away, he was
yes.
like, when I go, promise me you're gonna take care of Lola,
Oh,
which is my grandma. And I was like, I made
oh,
a promise, so I definitely have to fly back for that thing. So
yeah.
gonna fulfill the promise.
Well, have fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye
Well, take it
bye.
easy, guys. See ya. Cheers.